All right, welcome back to another edition of Uplifting Buzz Podcast with yours truly, Gary Johnson, and my wonderful co-host, as always, Mr. Marcus Grove of Uplift Mobile. We're back for another great show on this Throwback Thursday. Another awesome day here on the Gulf Coast in the city of Mobile. And we are so thankful for each of you joining in and listening to us on today, and to all of our podcast, previous episodes, whether you listen to us live on our social media pages or you go back and listen to them any of our podcast outlets such as Apple, iHeart, or our website, including Amazon and so many more. But we're so glad to have you along with us here on Uplifting Buzz Podcast. We have some more interesting topics to talk about on today. We're going to prepare you for what may come tomorrow as well in the District 2 race. But as always, just as a reminder, this is a non-biased conversation where non-biased conversations happen, and we do not take sides with one person or another. We just bring you the facts and have a clean, honest, non-biased dialogue about what's happening and what's important to our community. So that being said, we're going to go ahead and jump in to today's show. We're going to bring you a brief show on today, but nevertheless, we're going to bring you some important updates about what's happening out there and affecting our community. As always, glad to be back with you, man, for another show. I tell you, man, it seems like I come down with a cold, and it's whooping me. I'm telling you, it's whooping my tail. It got me feeling really, really bad. Nevertheless, I'm here. I'm dedicated to be a part of this show, and I'm here with you. And how have your last couple of days been since the last time we talked?
It's been pretty good. It's a lot going on in the city. Goodness, so much on the Gulf Coast, and I think that it's imperative to have shows like this and dialogue like this. You have so much bickering, so much back and forth on social media that it's really tough to get to a common consensus.
Yes.
So in times like this, I think it's important to have Uplifting Buzz podcast.
Awesome. And I think it's really getting out there to our community. And glad you brought that up. Is that we did have somebody reach out to me, and she expressed her thanks for the show. She didn't know this show existed until I shared it with her. And she was very impressed, about our dialogue that we're having here on the show, and that, and a show like this, that's really clean and, open, to every subject that we touch. And we're not, as we say, we're not biased in what we're talking about. We just keep it real. So I want to shout out to Asanya Harton. And in case she listened today, thank you for listening. And she said she locked us in on her iPhone for a podcast to get alerts. Thank you for that, and please continue to share with your friends and family members as well. Yeah, man, so much is going on here in the city of Mobile. Man, I'm telling you, when you were saying that, it just brought back to memories of what have happened since we last talked. But most notably this morning, about 1 a.m., a church down the street from my house burned, and that was Three Circle Church. And my hearts and my prayers goes out to that church family for whatever the situation may have been with that. For a church to catch fire is very devastating. And it is a tragedy in the community. And I know Three Circle there on that corner of Sage and Imogene does a lot for the community, because I know they do a lot of feeding. They have after school programs, youth programs, so forth. But yeah, did you hear anything about that?
I actually did not. This is the first time I'm hearing about it. I'm actually glad you brought it up. I have not heard anything about that.
Yeah. And I was surprised, man. I didn't, and I was up around that time because But I tell you, I come down with this cold and out there, and my nose was just so stuffed this morning that around that time, and I couldn't sleep like I wanted to. My nose was like stuffed and everything, but I was up, and I didn't hear any fire trucks or anything. Um, but yeah, Three Circle Church burned. It didn't burn down, but it did sustain a lot of internal damage, mostly to the sanctuary, from what I'm understanding. And they're doing an investigation, they're waiting for some of the hot spots, to cool down so they can go in and do their fire investigation. But yeah, the sanctuary, that for what I'm understanding, that it's received the most damage. Um, but yeah, we'll be praying for that church family here in the city of Mobile, that they get through this and they shall overcome. Also, man, another topic that we're going to touch on next week, this that's important is domestic violence.
Mhm.
We talked about gun violence last week, and I think we should touch on this domestic violence, man. Um, the guy that shot his wife in the vehicle there on the causeway. We don't know the cause of it because the shooter killed themselves. However it may happen in that vehicle. Then on last night, well, not last night, the night before last, on Tuesday night, a 21-year-old went and shot his estranged girlfriend. That's what I'm believing. Out of Wilmer Hall, a safe place that she thought she could be to get away from domestic violence, and um, she had a 10-month-old child, and I'm also thinking, from what I'm hearing, that she was also pregnant again while she was, but at the time of her murder. Domestic violence is something, another thing. It's something serious, man. It's growing. It's becoming another increasing problem in our community. And it deserves to be talked about as well. And we need to, touch on that next week on probably Tuesday or maybe Thursday, because I know Tuesday we're probably going to be full with a lot of stuff that's coming out of this weekend. But one day next week or the following week, we'll touch on, have a conversation about this domestic violence. Um, Also, in District 2, Mobile City Council race, and I think we refreshed everybody's remembrance on the updated happenings with that case, that both attorneys for each of the parties have filed their briefs with Judge Hambright. And a hearing is happening tomorrow morning, downtown at the Government Plaza in the Circuit Court. And she will hear those briefs, those arguments before those parties tomorrow. And then hopefully this will be all over with tomorrow, so we can move on to the next chapter to see what has to be done next. We do know one thing for a fact, that a new election has to take place. We do know that whether Kara is successful in his overturning this election, or it may not be. But if it is, we do know there will be another election. When would that take place? It'll be taking place sometime in January, the way it looks, or maybe early February, but mostly about end of January, February. Do you have any new updates on the District 2 race? I know, this is a race that you've been following really closely, and I kind of leave that up to you, Mr. Grove, to let you kind of talk about District 2 and this impending race, what's happening with it and the possible outcome. You have given us the more legal knowledge from a standpoint, from your expertise. Like I say, I'm an outsider looking in. But yeah, what's your thoughts on tomorrow in this race?
My thoughts on tomorrow. I think that a lot of people have been saying so much about what's going to happen or what should happen. I've seen comments such as, even if she was deemed to not have been eligible to vote or to run in the race here, that still she should be given the seat, because she would probably beat William Carroll again. I've seen comments all across the board in dealing with this whole thing, and when I weigh on it, state law usually supersedes city or county law, usually. But in some cases, state law is not in contention with city law. It's just an amplifying factor, especially in this case uh, with uh, the general elections law that was put in place, to make it mandatory for 90 days. I really just don't see the general election law being in contention with the Zogby Act. They're two separate, but ultimately it's on the judge to decide. And I just think that for a sitting Mobile judge to go against something such as the Zogby Act, she very well can, but I see that it going to appellate court on both sides, and I see that eventually maybe the Alabama Supreme Court. Whereas once it get up to that area, you know, the state wants to dominate. The state wants to dominate in those cases. Um, but I just think that in a lot of ways, the Zogby Act is not in contention with the general election law. And with the Zogby Act only amplifying the need for more time, such as 12 months, in the state of Alabama, I think the Zogby Act will overrule the general election law, and William Carroll may have, another chance to have another go at it. But then there's the question on, okay, well, if Samantha Ingram was not, uh, she didn't do anything malicious, she didn't do anything against the law, which there was a verified document from the city clerk stating that, hey, on their opinion, there was not anything malicious done by Samantha Ingram. Well, if that is the case, and now she is eligible because she has been here for 12 months, going on in November, will she have a chance of running again? And so if she does run again against William Carroll, then will she win again? Which, based on people bickering on social media, it's a good chance that it says that she may. But I would wonder if, like some people have said, is there a need to have another election? Well, in a lot of cases, I think that, of course, it will have to resort to, another case being ran. But if William Carroll will actually succeed in that is questionable, highly questionable.
It's really, really questionable tomorrow. Everybody's anticipating, a ruling tomorrow. Or this weekend, or the first of next week, maybe, about this situation. I'm ready for it to be over too. Like I said, the people of District 2 is going to be without a voice. That what matters the most. They have their representation there on the city council, here in the city of Mobile, and not all the bickering. Just, let it be whatever it's going to be. Moving on from that, what is it with these sports-related individuals jumping into politics? Here in Alabama, you had Tommy Tuberville, which coached at Auburn before he went down to Texas Tech, and then I guess he couldn't win enough games down at Texas Tech, and he came on back to Alabama to run for U.S. Senate. He became U.S. Senator from Alabama. I'm not saying he's the brightest U.S. Senator, but he's still U.S. Senator from Alabama. And now he's running for governor. In a state that he don't even live in. He want to control us, bring that authoritarian leadership to Alabama that Trump is laying on the whole country.
Mm-hmm.
And now he have a teammate. That's switching the playbook from football to politics. His name is A.J. McCarron. the star quarterback for Alabama that will help Alabama win a national championship, to win on to the NFL. Wasn't successful in the NFL. He ain't won no championships in the NFL. He just got that one in Alabama on the college level. Now he's playing for some of the small league. Living out here in West Mobile, big nice house on a ranch. Now he decided he want to jump into politics. And he said he's jumping in for the conservative and traditional values of Alabama. And I'm still trying to figure out what that is. And he said that the killing of Charlie Kirk inspired him to run. That what got me. If the killing of Charlie Kirk inspired you to run for the lieutenant governor of Alabama, that lets me know where you're thinking and how you're feeling and who you want to be. And most important, how you're going to govern in the state legislature. He also said in his announcement this morning, his video announcement this morning, that he wants to help Tommy Tuberville push through his agenda through the state house. So basically, he want to rubber stamp everything Tuberville put forward. He want to make sure it gets through, and that's not sounding good. It's just not sounding good. But what threw me off after this announcement, I'm not every person have a right to run on whatever and extend on whatever policy and political opinions that they have. That's them. They have that right. But when you come out and say that Charlie Kirk, and you know who Charlie Kirk is, and you know what he stands for, and all this type of stuff, what he have said in the past that's very controversial and racist, and you say he inspired you, then now you maybe look at you a whole totally different way. So Alabama, get ready. You got a new candidate that's on the ballot. His name is A.J. McCarron, the former quarterback for Alabama. Roll Tide. On the ballot with a former coach of Auburn University. Two teams that used to go at each other's neck now run as teammates. To, I'm going to say it simple, destroy Alabama even the worst, even more than it is, and make it the worst state in America. Because we're near the last in everything. Yeah, you got these two these two sports junkies now want to serve in political office so they can dictate, control our everyday lives. And I'm just not too sold on this one. But maybe some of you all are, but I am. I'm not. Mr. Gore, what you think about it?
Well, I think it's just, the whole continuation of making America great again. Putting in that whole racist, backwoods type of thinking. We already know what Tommy Tuberville stands for. We already know that. Now, to make it clear and plain as day, A.J. McCarron said that Charlie Kirk inspired him to join or to run for lieutenant governor. I wonder what his black teammates think. His teammates who played for the University of Alabama. I wonder what they think and with this guy. A.J. McCarron. This is the reason why Christianity and Catholicism has declined so much in this country.
Mm-hmm.
A.J. McCarron is a Catholic, but for a long time, we've only seen white Catholic priests. Not only white Catholic priests, but white saints. Where are the black saints?
Mm-hmm.
Where are the, we do have Hispanic saints that come every now and then, but where are the black saints? I think that, if the other races truly wanted to be real about who they are and be very Christian, be very, for everybody, then people like Charlie Kirk and A.J. McCarron should run on that platform. But they don't. We know, we look at Charlie Kirk as he say that he's just this staunch Christian, but in reality, we know that he's a racist. And in reality, we know that the way he lived his life got him in the situation he's in now. It's unfortunate, but you have to live your life right. And Agent McCarron is clearly stating that, hey, I'm a racist, or I'm against others, so put me in the game. And because of his stance, that's what's probably going to get him elected. You know, Donald Trump didn't get elected because he was a good person. He didn't get elected because he ran for something meaningful for everyone. He ran on the platform of racism. And that's the reason why he got elected. The same thing that George Wallace did. You know, because of his platform, they voted George Wallace in because he was against any type of desegregation, and that is what got George Wallace to win. That's the same thing that got Donald Trump to win again. Okay, and that's the same thing that Tommy Tuberville is running on. You know, you would think that over time these individuals would, you know, digress from their platform, but in reality, they want to continue that whole idea of racism, you know, white elitism, you know, and it's very unfortunate.
Yeah, and how can an individual run for office and then get elected and saying that they represent everybody, and knowing that you don't represent everybody, you only represent a select few? You know, first thing you holler, I represent my state. Well, racist individuals and conservatives is not the only people that live in Alabama. Wealthy people are not the only ones that live in Alabama. You have poor people in Alabama, working class people that trying to make ends meet. Like right now, you have a lot of them that's not being able to get paychecks and food and you know, the necessities of the basis of life because, you know, one political party that claims to represent everybody, be fair, you know, they got all the good ideas, business sense, the economic growth plan for the country or for the state, and none of it's working. None of it's working. But on the other hand, you see hospital closing, doctor's office closing. You see people at the food banks or churches getting help. Not that the church shouldn't help, but I'm just saying it's increasing and seeing more people show up for help. You know, people have worked and retired and can't even get the benefit that's due to them. People that's working to retire but can't retire because the retirement age has been pushed back. Because they want to continue to borrow money and borrow money against Social Security to pay for all the wrong things that they're doing. And all these pet projects and all this type stuff. You know, but they're not telling that. They're not telling the truth. But they want the poor, the ones at the bottom of the barrel, to finance what's at the top. So if it wasn't for those, if it wasn't for your legs and the foot that help you walk, the legs move and the body move, then your head wouldn't be able to get to where it needs to be. So you're handicapping everything below. Continue keep it in slavery, and you know, continue to move the grind for the wealthy and the rich while they hurt. You know, it shouldn't be that way. You got millionaires that sit around behind a desk, don't even touch a computer, pick up a phone, and they're making $30 or $40 million a year. That's like I have a problem with football coaches. Football coaches, like let's say for Alabama, make what $6-7 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
Just to sit behind a screen and watch how you throw the football and how you can throw it better, or put together a game plan, throwing a couple lines. Well, he ain't doing that because somebody's doing it for him.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't. I mean, Barry said he may go out there and visit a home of a football player, try to get him to come to the school just because he wants him so bad to make his stats look good on paper. And then on the field, you really your coaching style is really awful. You're barely winning, but you getting paid $8 or $9 million a year to do nothing. But here it is, the football players. Take an example. Now they're getting their rights or whatever, royalty rights, whatever they're getting now. But man, they still falling short. They're making one or two people rich. And they're the ones that don't have health care. They're the ones that's hurting or getting hurt or maybe can't play no more the rest of their life, or they become ill. It's just so much that can happen because they're trying to please one man or get to the dream of their life. They're the one that's struggling the hard way. But when the silver spoon was handed to the coach the easy way, that's the same way in the workforce. And let's take United Healthcare when the CEO got killed in the streets of was it New York, if I'm not mistaken. That man was making millions of dollars a year. But you over a healthcare company that was denying the basic healthcare to those that was enrolled into your services. While you were sitting there, you and your family could get top-notch healthcare. You would get a paycheck regardless whether you went to work or not. There's a difference that we're living in. Man, in Alabama and across this country, in 2026, man, there are so many offices on the ballot. So many races, so many candidates lining up. Some we haven't even heard about yet. It's probably going to come out and announce. Some's not running no more. They just want to get out of politics because of where it's going. We are in perilous times. As the Christians say, the Bible says. And the Bible said that we'll see wars and rumors of wars, famine in the land. All of this stuff is going to take place. It is fulfilling itself every day. And see all that to get to this. We have the longest government shutdown almost in American history. Because Donald Trump refuses to compromise, as he said, he's a leader, a negotiator. He gets things done. He was a true fake. He lied to the American people to get what he wanted. He lied. Yes, he lied many years when his dad gave him all the inheritance that he had, and he ran with it, and he lied from that day forward to get what he wanted. Lied about his finances, lied about his businesses, lied about the educational school program, college program he had, defrauding people of their money. And he's still doing the same thing today. He's a compulsive liar, a deceiver. And those that are following behind him is the same as he is. Because birds of a feather just flocks together. They all live for one thing, is that they put their hand in the cookie jar to get something out.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care about us. They don't care about us, the American people, regardless of what color we are. They don't care. In other words, they're sitting behind that desk, laugh and say they better get it how they get it. But we are the ones that sit around and not doing anything about it. We're letting this continue to happen. We're not voting, But I'm going to tell you something. To say that news came out this week down in Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama made mention of it, that SNAP benefits, Section 8, Social Security, SSI benefits, all these government benefits may not be issued in 2 weeks, when November get here, for the month of November. And there'll be a lot of people, rent won't be paid, food won't be on the tables. Look, Thanksgiving is here. We may have one of the saddest holidays, this year. Because you have Republicans up there just only fighting for the rich and don't want to compromise and help the poor, those that really need it. Democrats yesterday put forth a bill, even while the government shutdown is going, to continue to fund and pay federal employees. Republicans, the same one that got the government hostage right now and blaming the Democrats for their actions, voted against funding and paying federal employees yesterday. Voted against it. And you call me and you tell me that's called leadership? So, as again, they getting their paychecks. They are happy. They got a title. They are kissing Donald Trump behind. They his puppet. He their master. If he say jump off the cliff, they're gonna do it. He punched them in their face. They're gonna fall. So they're not gonna fight back. They're too weak to do that. They're cowards. They are pure cowards.
Mm-hmm.
Every Republican in Washington right now is a pure coward. Plain and simple. Ain't no sweet talking it. Ain't no spice it up, sweeten it up. None of that. Those days are over. I have no respect. I'm talking about me as an individual. No respect for a Republican. I'll say the same thing about a Democrat if you get in the way and do the same thing. Because the people of this country, whether you stay in Georgia, Florida, Mississippi, Tennessee, New York, California, somebody elected somebody to send somebody to represent somebody. You didn't get there by yourself. You work for the American people. It's our tax dollars making your paycheck as well. And to sit there and roll the drum on the heads of the American people as they do not exist because you want a certain class of people to be successful, you don't deserve to be there and you don't deserve to be respected. You should just throw in the towel, go back home, and drink your cup of coffee on your front porch. That's what you should do. And I just hate that our country is in the shape that it's in. I say this again. We are on a backwards path. They're rolling us back in time. That's their agenda. And yes, authoritarianism and a king is what they want. And he's trying to set it up where Republicans can have full control in a supermajority where he don't have to leave the White House and he can be there till the day he dies. That's what he wants. That's what he's trying to set it up to be. And I'm kind of getting fed up with the Democrats as well. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm kind of getting fed up with the Democrats, not those just in Washington, but those that sit outside Washington, like here in Mobile, there in Louisiana, up there in Nevada, up there in Chicago, that's not voting or not in these streets, raising holy hell against this administration and every Republican that's in Washington right now. If our forefathers did this and they took it the hard way back in 1965, 1960, 1955, we can do it today.
Mm-hmm.
We can do it today. But you know what? We have got so complacent that we got our hand so far reached out that we expected them to give us something, as if they owe us something, and we don't want to fight for what's due to us or what we have accomplished. We want to just throw in the towel and then, take it all back what somebody fought for that we may never get back. Mm-hmm. We want all of these benefits, but we don't want to fight for them. It's like when we go to work, you can't expect to get a paycheck if you don't put the time in.
Right.
You can't get a paycheck if you don't clock that clock. So how can you expect to get SNAP and Social Security and all this type of stuff if you ain't fighting for it? It's on the chopping block. They want to get rid of it anyway. They don't care about you getting it. They want to squash it anyway. That's their way of saying physical economic responsibility. They saving the country money. But what they doing with the money? They're putting it back into the hands of the rich and making the rich richer and us more slavery, increasing slavery even more and making us slaves. That's what they're doing. And let me give you the last word on this subject in this show to you, Mr. Grove, that you expound on it and give your take and your thought on it. And we'll pick it back up next week, man. And hopefully by this weekend, we'll have some adults walking around on the face of earth somewhere that know how to put a belt around their britches and pull them up and walk in them and pull the dresses down when people have to look up on them as well for their pleasure in Washington somewhere. I'm saying how I feel. I mean, you can say how you feel, but that's how I feel right now. I'm just disappointed, and not just in one part. But I'm disappointed in both because I think that could be a bigger fight. There could be more fight. And all this wording for sound bites, that's trash. That's over with. That's over. You sitting there, you just sitting there letting the bulldozer just push your house down. Just like you tearing the White House down, something that don't even belong to him. There are bulldozers right now tearing down the east wing of the White House in Washington because he wants to build what he wants there. Didn't get no authorization from Congress to do this. But we are sitting around here doing lip service on radio, on TV, in the newspapers, talking about this and that, keep on pointing the finger. But when will we come into reality that it's going to take more than just a soundbite? or appearing on TV. I mean, this is where we at right now. I mean, it's like not just a few people are scared, but it seems like a lot of us becoming scared in this political process. And going to the extent that if we say this and say that, this may happen to us. Well, don't fall to the that esteem. I mean, don't become a coward. Stand up and be real and fight for the American people. That's what that's what we're looking for. We're looking for some real fighters, and whatever it takes, you'll have people behind you. Just fight, and let us know you're fighting for us, Mr. Grove.
Yeah, so I do feel that, the time for sitting back, watching the No Kings rallies, watching, something that they voted for, watching them fight against their um, mates and fighting against Trump has come and gone. I do think that we should all start picking up and fighting as well, because it's now affecting us. I mean, you see, a lot of Haitians being deported recently, um, and now going into Haitian cities. Um, the time for sitting back is over. We all must pick it up. And when you talk about, your unhappiness with even Democrats, where I think what you're saying is your unhappiness with white Democrats, because the thing is for Black Democrats, they really have not been vocal at all. They really haven't been saying much unless they are in some type of political position where they have to say much. But a lot of them haven't really been saying much. I think that uh, for a lot of people to really stand up and fight, I think that a lot of it is some of it's mistrust for their own party. A lot of people that still are Democrats that vote Democrat don't particularly enjoy all of what Democrats have to offer. Especially when it comes to abortion and gay rights. Um, so a lot of them feel a disunity involved with standing up and fighting for that single voice. Whereas Republicans all across the board, they believe in the same ideals, no abortions, forget LGBT. They're all across the board aligning with the same type of understanding that, you know, um, with more diversity, with more community comes less and less our voice. And that's what they believe. Although studies show that, you know, uh, cultural type of settings does help the common good, but they're really pushing for their ideal because they understand that um, in a lot of ways, the mixing of cultures do play a toll, have a toll. And so I think that in a lot of ways, for all of Democrats, or people that align against Trump, they should start standing up, voicing their opinions, because it's getting played right now. We're getting played. We're getting played big time. We understand and know Donald Trump's a liar. We
Yeah.
know he's a criminal. We know that he's a trashy person, and not just recently. He's always been a trashy person all his life. And so it's time for Republicans to stop believing in this person. And at the end of the day, they're really showing their true selves of being those cowards that they are. And I think that in a lot of ways, we really need people to stand up. I disagree and firmly dislike the person that Charlie Kirk was. But in a lot of ways, his ability to stand up for racist, for misogynistic people,
Mm-hmm.
chauvinists and type of individuals was because of his backing. And I think that in a lot of ways, we should also stand up and be vocal, and see where that gets us. At least it will give us some type of consensus, because there's other people thinking the same thing. They're just, stuck in their own ways, stuck on scrolling on social media, that they're not even standing up and saying anything. So if one person do it, then maybe you'll get more people to as well. But there has to be some type of consistency as well. I think that in a lot of ways we play around a little bit too much. We're too much into the entertainment system or world, that when we start to speak some real truth, then we start to play around again, and then come back to the real truth part, and then our audience is looking at us as if we're, you know, uh, trying to live double lives. And so if we can all come together and understand that there's trouble brewing on the horizon, then I think we'll be in a better light. But I'm grateful for podcasts like this, Uplift and Buzz podcast, to really talk about and have dialogue about these type of things. I wonder, you know, uh, for people who are Christians, who are people who are against LGBT and abortions, I understand that plight. But for those same people to truly love Trump is such a contradiction.
Mm.
And so, for people who really truly are for Paul Prime, I can understand his argument and being for Trump because he's against abortions and LGBT and being in our schools. But at the same token, do you at all feel that Trump is a bad leader? Or do you at all feel like he's a criminal? And do you at all understand of who Trump really is? And if they do understand who Trump really is, but they still vote for him, then we can understand what type of people those are. But if they're ignorant to the fact of who Trump is and still vote for him, then we have to understand that it's more of a cult type of fetish that they have for the man.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wonder, what type of understanding does Paul Prine has? Is he ignorant to the fact of who Trump is,
Mm.
or did he just vote for him because he sees the better solution in some of this LGBT and gay rights issues, or is he such a hardened Christian that it compels him to vote for him, even though he knows that Trump's a bad leader? At at the end of the day, voting for him at any case is voting for, it don't matter to them if it's the lesser evil or it's the greater evil. But at the end of the day, it's evil. And that's who Trump is.
Yeah. And it's a sad day for America, sad day for the world, and a sad day for our democracy. For I'm gonna say just for an ignorant man to seek authoritism and kingship in such a day and time as this. As we thought that we was put that behind us, and a country that's working so hard to move forward. But he brought this racism and slavery mentality back into the midst of our and the heart of our life in 2025. But we was warned about this about a year ago, and people didn't listen. They didn't listen, so we got what we got, and now we got to fight to keep our rights and make it better for the American people. That has been today's show. Thank you, Mr. Grove, man, for your enlightenment and always your input on these hot topics here on Uplift and Buzz podcast. Want to remind everybody that we are in the midst of open enrollment. And Mr. Grove is also assisting individuals with that process. If you need to switch a plan or you need health care, make sure that you get with Mr. Grove and his company to get enrolled for health care while it's open, because it closes on December the 7th, and we'll make sure that you are covered before that date. I also want to give a shout out to my company, Buzz Report Media. We finally have hit that 50,000 mark for visitors that have visited BuzzReportNews.com, our news site. And thank you all for your wonderful support and engagement with Buzz Report Media. And I also want to thank everybody for supporting Uplift Mobile. They don't, as he say, they don't cover what we cover most of the time, but they're out there bringing you quality, quality product for whatever they do cover and the topics that they cover. And you watch some of the interviews and the product that they're putting out there. It's beyond excellent. I mean, it's top notch. Now commend Mr. Grove and his staff and over at Uplift Mobile for the job that they're doing. Two media companies coming together for this opportunity and this partnership to bring you Uplifting Buzz podcast. Mr. Grove, can you get them your website for anyone that want to contact you in reference to healthcare insurance or the Medicare enrollment?
Yeah, so you can contact us at www.workwithgip.com. And there's a number on there. There's an enrollment link. Call that number, schedule an appointment with us, and we'll definitely get you hooked up with your Medicare enrollment. And yeah, we look forward to your call.
Awesome. Keep up the good work. Continue to serve the people. And God will do these some good. Listen, until next time, until Tuesday, join us right back here on Uplifting Buzz podcast. Remember to visit our website, upliftingbuzzpodcast.com. And also you can find us on social media, as Facebook and Instagram. And also you can listen to our podcast on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio, and so many more. Please just type in Uplifting Buzz Podcast and lock us in, share it, and we look forward to talking to you again on Tuesday. God bless.